Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports, talking real sports the same way we do every Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We are worldwide, and we are now on the iHeartRadio, the family of iHeartRadio listeners, over 250 million people throughout the United States. And we go worldwide, Big C, so I want to say bienvenidos to all of our Latin American followers, also out to London, as well as Berlin, Germany, and the great country of Canada. Also want to say we're getting tweets from Russia, beautiful Russia, also Australia, as well as Africa, Big C, and of course the beautiful United States. So welcome to the $1 Million Show, and today is July the 14th, 2016. And Big C, I know out here, I think you're a lot like Sarah Palin. Did you see you can see Russia from your house, Big C, in the South, Big C?
well, if I drive to the other side of town, Charlton, I get even closer to it, So I can find out what, and I can also call Sarah and find out what she's doing, how bewildered her mind is these days, She's kind of lost in the wilderness, as they would say.
Well, Big C, as I know, we come to iHeartRadio, and we thank you again for iHeart bringing us on, and again, with Big C's 40-plus years experience. I even heard Colin Coward saying that he's been around sports for 43 years. Colin's trying to trump you, Big C. Okay?
Well, Colin plays Pony League baseball, Charlton. And Colin's only 50 years old.
Yeah.
So, he started playing minor sports.
They don't know
when he was 7 years old. Probably T-ball or something,
They have no idea how much gray hair Big C has, but I also want to say that I appreciate the sports world, and I appreciate so many things that's happening in the world of sports. And we had the ESPYs last night, and so they like to always blend Hollywood and entertainment the way you've been doing it, Big C. But I also want people to know that with Charlton and Big C Sports, we talk about everything that's social. We're not just going to give you the scores, and we also have a little bit of entertainment going on in our world, Big C. We have a song put on by Mr. Anon, and it's about Charlton and Big C. And let me know what you're thinking about 10 seconds, Big C.
Oh no, you in trouble now. Hard hitting sportscast, don't you fumble now. Charlton and Big C.
I like that, Charlton and Big C Sports with Mr. Anon.
Charlton and Big C Sports, bringing it real every day. I mean, you talked about the ESPYs last night, Charlton, and it was kind of nice. I'm not saying totally profound, but kind of nice that these athletes finally spoke up on a major platform.
Yeah.
But, the problem with that, Charles, it's like a leaking faucet. You can turn it off.
Yeah.
And that's what these guys are going to do. Let's see what they say in a week.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks. In a month. Like Charlton and Big C, we've been doing this for more than a month, telling people about this, Charlton.
Since we started,
We'll continue, Charlton. But, let's see how profound these athletes are going to be in 2 weeks, 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Are they going to be talking about it? Are they going to have a social conscience about it? Are they going to be going out, organizing, helping situations out in their various communities? Charlton, when you look at the professional athletes in America, they all work in these cities where we're having these strikes, these racial indifferences, these homicides, these injustices. All of these professional athletes are in the forefront of these cities, even more the mayors, Charlton, more than their governors. So how often will they come out and be really social activists about the problems that are occurring? Our athletes in America owe it to America to help us out. Because America has done so much to make them wealthy and popular. They right now need to return the favor, not just basketball, but baseball, football, hockey. Without the American citizen, how much money would a professional athlete make?
That's very true, Big C. And also, speaking of money, this segment is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealer, home of the all-new Escalade. You can only get it there brand new. It is the standard of the world. And when you go down and test drive it, tell them that Charlton and Big C sent you. You can also download the iHeartRadio app when you're driving your new Escalade, and you can tune into Charlton and Big C Sports. So, Big C, I know there's so many things that I was so proud about when I watched the ESPYs last night. And, of course, we think about the great Dr. Martin Luther King, someone who was a selfless leader, someone who gave his life so that other people would have it better in the future. Also, the great late Muhammad Ali. We talked about the Muhammad Ali consciousness. We started doing that actually back in February 29th when we started Charlton and Big C Sports. And just recently, after Muhammad Ali passed, the great Jim Brown, He was on with Muhammad Ali and the great Harry Edwards, one of the most intelligent men on the planet, Harry Edwards. And they talked about this thing that you brought up several months ago, Big C, about the consciousness. It's not just a black issue. America's about money. The more money you have, the more choices you have. The less money you have, the less choices you have. So, Big C, what I want to get from your point of view, you know the SEC just had their media day. And they want to parade out the coaches, Nick Saban and a couple of other great coaches out there, Clay Helton out there at the USC. And they're all talking about one thing. They're talking about what kind of team they're going to have to field the play with football season kicks off in August. And we know USC is going to open up the kickoff classic with Alabama. No one talked about money.
You're opening up a can of whip something,
well, you know, Lynn Swan's bringing the white horse. That's the West Coast Southeast Conference thing. So, but Lynn Swan's, he's riding the white horse down to Texas, so you know he's going to be in shape. At least the horse will, Big C. But one thing that was so missing out of that, and we'll get into the ESPYs in a little bit, but when Nick Saban was talking about it, it was on ESPN, the sports leader. And I hope they grow the Ali consciousness that LeBron James talked about last night with Chris Paul, also Carmelo Anthony and Dwayne Wade. No one talked about giving these young athletes money. There were 2 young kids at Alabama that got pulled over for something. I forgot exactly what the charges were.
I'll tell you exactly what happened,
yeah.
Charlton.
What happened with that?
Offensive tackle
yeah.
who was projected to be a top 5 pick.
Right.
And there was a cornerback.
Yeah.
They were pulled over. They had marijuana and paraphernalia in the car, as well as a couple loaded guns.
Yeah. There
was a judge in Alabama, Charlton, that dismissed the charges because of who they were and who their boss was. And most likely, he's an alumnus of the university, and he did the same thing that the judge in Stanford did when they had the swimmer rape the young girl out there.
Yeah.
You got 2 heinous crimes occurring, and they got off because they were athletes.
Yeah.
That sends a bad message, and that's why we still see so many athletes in trouble.
Yeah.
But when you talk about media day in the SEC, and you have Nick Saban, Les Miles, Kevin Sumlin, Franklin, and many other coaches down there, Charlton, you know, that are paraded around like prize bulls in a ring.
Yeah.
Talking about the players that they have that they're going to field, as you say, for the upcoming season. Talking about their depth, the problems that they have, that they're weak at this position.
Yeah.
They're never weak, Charlton. They buy whatever they need to buy.
Yeah, they do.
Okay?
They do.
That's what they do. So they're never weak. When you walk out there with 110 players on game day, where do you not have any depth? I mean, let's be honest about it when you're talking about major college football.
Yeah.
But not at one point.
No money.
Did you hear?
No money.
Did you hear anything about compensating players or, Charlton, more importantly, you didn't hear anything talking about their graduation rate from last year.
No,
How many kids that they graduated?
Yeah.
What's the team GPA average?
Yeah.
They don't talk about that during media day. That's irrelevant when it comes to the media, to the talking head. Let's be real. Just tell them this is a meat market.
It's a meat market. It's a meat market. And the ironic thing, because I'll contrast that with what you've been talking about all year, Big C, on Charlton and Big C Sports, now on the iHeartRadio network. You were talking about something that every person can relate to. And Sam Jackson made one of the best commercials I've ever heard because it's so poignant. He says, "What's in your wallet?" So when you have someone like Nick Saban, and I know you like Nick Saban, and they're going to lose the game to USC and Lynn Swan and his good old boys from California.
Hey, 13-1 still win your national championship.
Okay, but you know, the point is, Lynn Swan is rich. Lynn Swan, just because he's black, it doesn't mean he's going to stand up for black athletes. Lynn Swan came out and said that he doesn't believe that athletes should get paid. Now, he didn't have that same opinion when they negotiated his salary to be the athletic director at USC. I'm sure he didn't say, "I'll do it for free. I just want to ride the white horse every now and then," Big C. Like they tell the players they can pet the horse instead of getting money. But when you think about this, what's so egregious about it is you have Media Day. I think there were over 1,000 media for the SEC Media Day. 1,000 media, I'm sure most of them got some type of salary from their company. And all of the coaches are making 7 figures. None of them make 6 figures, Big C. They're all making 7 figures in the SEC. There might be one that makes under the 7-figure line. At the same time, not one mention of money for these young athletes. Most of them come from inner cities, like the 2 guys that were in trouble, Big C. Why is that so egregious? And why is ESPN still dropping the ball, parading these guys around as if they're some paragon of virtue when they're just getting free labor again, Big C? Your thoughts on that?
Well, Charlton, when you look at it, they're down having this media day at a resort, not at a Motel 6, okay?
Yeah.
They were not at Motel 6.
They didn't leave the light on for you, Big C? Is that what you're trying to say?
They were at the Red Roof Inn, Charlton. They were not at the Red Roof Inn.
Okay.
So when you look at where they were, and the golf tournament that's going on there also.
Yeah.
So they're out playing golf. So it's not all about media. So that they get together and they have these lavish buffets and dinners that they're having. They're passing out awards and expectations for the season.
Yeah.
But, like we keep talking about, in athletics there has to be education involved also.
Yeah.
They're not sitting there talking about the caseload, the class load that the players are taking.
Yeah.
But when you talked about even the media being there, Charlton, and over 1,000 media credentials were passed out for this event, they all had to apply for that. Now, that's the kind of numbers you get for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
1,000 media credentials.
Yeah.
And you're getting 1,000 media credentials
for college football. College football. Yeah.
It's still a month away. The game's still a month away from being played.
Yeah.
And so that's how hungry people are for football in America, Charlton. And we talk about how big the SEC is compared to the little conferences across America.
Yeah.
And this is what's done, but we have to find a way when you have ESPN covering, because ESPN has built a network for the SEC.
Yeah.
And this network affords more money to the universities, to the coaches, but no compensation to the players, Charlton. And without the players, would the SEC network exist? We're talking about women's gymnastics, baseball, basketball, football, volleyball, all of that. These are the athletes that are being exploited for everybody else's entertainment.
Yeah. And
but what they're being told is that they're really of no value financially to anybody.
Well, Big C, money talks, and on Charlton and Big C Sports, you can download the Charlton and Big C Sports on the iHeartRadio, and we thank them again for making us a part of their family. And also, speaking of family, this segment is sponsored by your California Lottery. What could a buck do for you, Big C? I know down in the South, they could probably buy you a couple of bucks of moonshine, Big C, a couple of buckets of moonshine.
It'll give me a couple more new mason jars that I can store in and sit it back there at the cooler.
Well, I hear that I picked the winning numbers for the Mega Millions, actually in the Powerball coming up, Big C, on Friday. So either way, money is good. Take a buck and invest in it if you want to. You can make your dreams come true. But Big C, I think we talk about money, and it's so powerful when we do this, because when you add up the schools in the SEC, and they have the two divisions now because there's so much money in that conference and so many teams that want to get some of the TV revenue. But for there to be no talk of money, and people might say, well, Charlton and Big C, why do you guys talk so much about money? These are college athletes. Why should they get paid? Why should they get paid for their labor?
Charlton, the reason why we talk about money, how long does the final score last? As quick as you announce it, okay?
Yeah.
How long? But tell me this. How long does it take to fill a stadium, all right?
Yeah.
How many people are going into the parking lot? How many people are going through the turnstiles? How many people are out there tailgating?
Yeah.
How many people are going to the concessions? How many people are buying school paraphernalia?
Yeah.
So when we talk about money, it's nothing but money. When you look at a collegiate or professional game, Charlton, they're not giving away free tickets.
Yeah, that's
if
true.
they do, they're going to have twice as many people in the stadium as will hold.
Yeah.
But tell me the next time somebody gives a free ticket. We talked about the Rams yesterday selling out for the entire season.
90,000 seats.
Not giving away free tickets.
Yeah.
Because they have no free tickets to give away.
Right.
So they can't do a public service and give away free tickets to the youth around in that area who cannot afford the games, Charlton, because it's been sold out. People give them money.
Yeah.
So the next time that a professional or college game says on game day, all seats are free, let me know we shouldn't talk about money. Okay?
Well, yeah, you know what, Big C, this reminds me, and again, because we are worldwide, and I want to make sure that all people are treated the same. And just because you may have more common sense or more power than someone, it doesn't mean that you prey on the weak. And a lot of kids, they're sold this bill of goods that they're going to get a degree. Most of them don't. Most of these kids are African American that are exploited. And when we talked about Jim Brown saying we all need a Muhammad Ali consciousness, Muhammad Ali, the Ali Center in Louisville, Kentucky, UPS donated $500 million to it. They didn't give them Nike tennis shoes or Adidas or Reebok or Under Armour. They gave them computers and so they can read and learn math and science and books and understand the stock market. And I'm going to bring this point up. There was a movie called 12 Years a Slave, and the premise was a free man that was very intelligent was captured by some good old boys in the South, and they enslaved him, meaning he could still work, but he had to work for free now. He could not get compensation until he was freed 12 years later. Now, I contrast that with the thing that's happening in college football, because we're talking about billion-dollar contracts now for TV and revenue. Billions. But when you have most of these kids that help build these stadiums and the powerhouse teams, they're mostly African Americans exploited from inner cities. So it's great that Nick Saban can get on the phone and get some charges dropped against his 2 football players, but that would not happen to those good old boys down south, these young black kids, if they did not play football for the great University of Alabama. So as long as you're benefiting me and making me money, I'll make a phone call and get you out of trouble. And I think that's the egregious part, Big C. They need money more than someone to make a phone call for them. When you have money, you're less likely to do other things that are illegal to get the money, Big C. Your thoughts on that?
Well, Charlton, they need counseling. When will they be put into counseling? That part is never brought about. They need to learn socialism, Charlton. They need to learn what they were doing was wrong. Maybe they need to go into some drug rehab. They had marijuana in the car.
Yeah.
So these things, everything has been pushed under the rug. I mean, we saw that last year, earlier this year in the NFL draft when Larry Tunsil, all of a sudden, the big offensive tackle out of Mississippi, the number 13th draft pick of the Miami Dolphins in the first round.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, this YouTube video pops up of him with a bong strapped across his head.
Yeah.
Getting high on marijuana or whatever this smoking substance was. We don't know what he had in the pipe.
Fireworks to play this day. They were doing fireworks, Big C. That was the smoke coming out of the car, Big C.
So you look at these scenarios and it's almost glorified. I mean, Larry Tunsil led to 2 Alabama players being exonerated by a judge, an Alabama alumni.
Yeah.
So when you look at this, what's the message that's being sent to those youth?
Yeah.
In youth football, Pop Warner, when you're playing high school football, and they see these examples that are put on television, and who's broadcasting them, Charlton?
The major network.
And Fox News.
And they're getting paid.
Broadcasting, they glorify.
Yeah.
They didn't show it just once.
Yeah.
Think about the dozens of times that ESPN rolled it across to the youth of America. Say, hey, go out, smoke marijuana. You can be the number 13th pick overall in the first round in the NFL draft.
Yeah, they
That's
sensationalized
$8 million in a contract.
Yeah, they sensationalized
so go out
that.
And get high. This is what ESPN did. They advertised that.
Yeah.
A week.
Time and time again. I agree.
So the youth of America, go out and get high, and you can be a number 1 draft pick.
And let's be real, too. When I was in college, that's why I was exposed to most people that were doing drugs. And I've never done them. I don't care what people think. Never done it. No one can ever tell you that they saw me doing it. That doesn't make me any better than anybody else. I'm not saying that. People do what they want to do. But most of the people that I saw doing drugs were Caucasian. Not one of them could tell me they were ever racially profiled. Not one of them ever could tell me that they spent time in jail because they were picked up on some trumped-up charges of having marijuana on them. Not one. The only people I know of are doing a DUI. But outside of that, most of the young black kids that dealt with that industry, they've all done some time, or they've all been at least racially profiled. So I want to get to this point, Big C. And before I get to this point, I just want to say this segment is sponsored by United Labor Insurance, guaranteed $100,000 life insurance with no medical questions. You can tweet out to Charlton and Big C and find out how. Also, Goosehead Property and Casualty. We beat about 98% of the people in business when it comes to a quote for your home or car. And also, I'm a broker with One Life America Life Insurance Company. We're the leaders in final expense. Now, here's a poignant part of our program, Big C, because we had the ESPYs last night. And I have so much more respect for guys that are not so afraid to lose their endorsements that they make their kids come out. If you're afraid to talk and stand up for what makes life better for your kids, no matter what color, no matter what race, no matter what gender, if you're such a coward as a parent and as a rich man that you have no social consciousness, then maybe you should have your kids stand up and say what's going to protect them in the future. I gained so much more respect for Carmelo Anthony last night. I gained so much more respect for Chris Paul last night. I gained so much more respect for Dwayne Wade last night. And I gained so much more respect for LeBron James last night. Because for the first time since Muhammad Ali, I saw some wealthy black men that were not shaking in their boots to talk about the problems that will keep our young black kids safe and white kids safe. There's so many people who are so afraid they're going to lose some endorsement. They'd rather have the endorsement than their kids feel safe walking down the street. So last night was more than just saying all lives matter and stop the violence. That to me is what every man should do. Man up so your kids don't have to go through the same garbage that our grandparents went through it. black and white. And don't just make it the black athletes. Let Tom Brady stand up and say how all lives matter. Let someone like anyone that runs a professional sports team make them come out and say the same things that these young black athletes said. Big C, I want to get your thoughts on that because you've been talking about this for months, Big C.
Well, Charlton, if we get the well-known owners, Daniel Snyder, Washington Redskins, where we have a lot of problem in that Baltimore area, Jerry Jones, the most wealthiest owner in all of professional sports, Charlton.
Yeah.
When we get these people, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the owner,
he owns it, Quicken Loan Center, yeah.
Yeah, he just won an NBA championship. When we walk around and we look at these cities, we look at the Lakers with the Buzz family.
Yeah.
We go around and all they have to do, because who do they hire, Charlton? Who do they hire?
Young black kids to play.
The young black men that they hire, yeah, their lives matter.
Yeah.
Because they're making their money. But have those owners of these organizations, Charlton, baseball, basketball, football, and even in hockey where there's a handful of blacks.
Yeah. Walk
out and say, these lives matter. Not just because they're my employees, but because they're part of our society.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to get to. Until the wealth of America, Charlton, get me, the wealth of America says that everybody matters, then this won't. Take Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Take Donald Trump, as asinine as he is.
Yeah.
If he stood up and said that all lives matter, but he won't. That's not what he will do. That's not what he's about. He's as racist of a candidate as has ever ran for president in this country.
And he brags about it.
He brags about that he's a racist. But he needs to stand up. Hillary Clinton needs to stand up. President Obama has constantly stood up and said it, Charlton.
Yeah.
He has constantly stood up and said it. He has defended all of American lives.
Yeah.
Not just one race, but all American lives. He is the CEO of the largest corporation in the world, President Obama, and he has defended everybody. Let's take Congress, Charlton, especially the Republican side, who was always fighting the president, their boss. Let them stand up and say, let them have a sit-in and say, we're going to pass a gun bill because all lives matter.
Yeah.
Yes, the NRA, it's nothing wrong with hunting in America, Charlton. It's been an innate right of every American citizen since we've had this country.
Yeah.
But to go out and hunt Bambi or Thumper, you don't need an AR-47 or whatever it is.
You sure
don't. You don't need a 50-clip long rifle semi-automatic. You don't need that. Single bolt action, 30-06, 12-gauge shotgun, that's all you need. You might need a hand pistol periodically. But you don't need a 50-round clip to go out and hunt a rabbit, a deer, or a goose.
Well, Big C, I agree with that very much. And see, there's a consciousness. Power and consciousness are not always mutually exclusive. You can have one without the other. Just because you're rich and powerful, it doesn't mean you have a consciousness. So that's why I applaud Jim Brown and Harry Everett and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar coming out and talking about that after Ali's ceremony was happening on ESPN just last month. But Big C, I credit you because you brought it up before. And I know you're around the Jim Crow area where it's illegal now for Jim Crow, but it's not illegal in the heart. People can still have those feelings. But I also want to compliment for the Caucasian Americans too. Sometimes they may feel like when we say Black Lives Matter that their lives don't matter. Well, all lives matter. So there's a lot of conscious Caucasians that have also aided in the cause of young black children and all kids of color when it comes to poverty. Because the issue right now, Big C, is not necessarily about rich athletes saying that they want to donate their time and money and resources. Kids need computers more than they need Nike tennis shoes. Kids need books more than they need a new hat. So that's why I champion, like Phil Knight. You own Nike. You have all the money in the world. Guys like Warren Buffett, I know they're philanthropic, but maybe your philanthropy is quiet so people don't know they can follow you. I think it was Lee Iacocca said, lead, follow, or get out of the way. What if we had great conscious leaders of all faiths, of all denominations, of all cultures? If we really had the need to stamp out poverty in this country, we teach kids to become entrepreneurs. The stock market is there. If you understand the stock market, you don't have to rely so much on unemployment. You don't have to rely so much on getting your resume ready. You can become the employer. And you talked about a program called Ninja Trader. And there's other programs and platforms you can learn. But the inner city needs jobs and income. You can create that if you learn the stock market more so than having someone give you a job. So I don't think that all people have to stay in their environment where they grew up, Big C. There was a guy on ESPN, I think his name is Scoop Jackson. He's a great writer, and he was talking about philanthropy. Well, we need to tell people, just like Charlton and Big C Sports, I'm a little bit ashamed that Fox Sports and ESPN, they don't do what we do. We're just two people. I know we're just as brilliant and erudite as anybody, but they have the multi-million dollar platform to talk about things like this. Now that you started this several months ago, I see everybody doing it, even the UFC. Okay, a great sport. The UFC, Big C, Dana White, he's talking about blending sports and entertainment. Well, you started talking about it first. And I want to touch on this before I turn it back to you, Big C. Tonight, President Obama is doing something on ESPN and ABC on race and the people in the United States. It's must-see television because it's not just about Black Lives Matter. It's about all lives that matter. Law enforcement deserves to be respected for the good ones. The ones that are bad, and you good law enforcement, you know who they are. You're the ones that need to turn on them and turn them in so they make your job safer. Because when people get in trouble, they don't call the guy in the street with an automatic rifle. They call 911, Big C. So your thoughts on what I just talked about with people need money and jobs more so than someone saying we're going to help you, Big C. Your thoughts on that?
And that's very poignant, Charlton, about the law enforcement, the statement that you made. You know, the blue line is the protected line internally within law enforcement. But it's those who cross the blue line, Charlton, who are making those good, great cops that are wonderful citizens and wonderful servants in our society, making their lives dangerous, Charlton. And that's what you can't have. You can't have people internally in your business when you're in the most dangerous business in America, making your life in danger when you think that they have your back and they don't. But when you sit there and talk about all lives matter, what comes to my mind, Charlton, is the late, great Michael Jackson. He did a song, Black or White. And that video of that song was one of the most poignant videos ever in history. Because he took every race in the world and employed it in that video. It wasn't about being black or white. It was about blending what the world is. That we are all people. And he did a song years ago before that, back in the 80s. We Are the World.
We Are the World, a lot of entertainers.
Quincy Jones. And every entertainer after the Grammys that could get in this, about 200 of them, wanted to get into it. And we are the world. We are the people. We are the children. This is what society needs to think about. We need to go back, and we always talk about entertainment. And the great Michael Jackson laid down those tracks decades ago, Dalton, about what the world should be. Look at yourself. Look at the man in the mirror. Okay, I'm asking him to change his ways. You know, you think about the history of his music and what he told the world as well as what he told America. If we live by what he was telling people, think about how great and how even society would be. You know, you talked about the ESPYs last night. The great Arthur Ashe. You know, they have the Arthur Ashe Courage Award. Arthur Ashe was a man of men because he went out with his affliction and told the world, you still need to love and care about everybody.
That's true. Very true.
This is not something that, you know, because so many people wanted to say that his affliction was from a lifestyle. It wasn't. It was from having surgery. And so many people get pigeonholed saying that they are because of something that happened to them. But Arthur Ashe led his life through courage in helping others, Charlton, up until his last days. But that's what life is about. Looking at the man in the mirror, as Michael Jackson would have said, and asking him to change his ways. That will make America better, Charlton.
Well, see, Big C, I think that's so important, and I think that if you have a voice, and when I grew up part of the church and being around that, and that's great. But ironically, when people say something bad happens, and my heart and thoughts still go out to the slain officers that were only trying to serve and protect the public, and you had some rogue person go out and commit a crime. But I also resent the fact that some people say that this Black Lives Matter movement, you see what's happening, you see, they really don't care. They lumped all the black society into the actions of a few knucklehead people. And that doesn't happen when a Caucasian person blows up a church. They don't say the whole white race. They say that crazy deranged person. So I want people to be conscious of that in media because it's happening too much when you indict a whole group of people. But I want to say this also, people, because this is so important to me that I want to make sure that my kids don't have to go through the same garbage. So before I bring this point up, Big C, I just want to say, BeneathHisWingsFoundation.org, make a donation today. It's easy, it's fast, and secure. And when it comes to promotions, contact Cynthia Evans of CYNN Entertainment. When it comes to promotions, she's the best in Northern California. Let her know that Charlton and Big C sent you. So Big C, as we close out the program, I know President Obama's doing a speech tonight on ESPN, and they'll probably rerun it. It's going to be on ABC as well. It's talking about people and race in America. This is a great country. Dr. Leakey said when he was looking for the origin of man, he went to Europe, but he traced the origin of man back to Africa, the late Jewish scientists. All life came from one region of the world. That's science. Irrespective of your beliefs, science doesn't lie. I want to just bring this up, Big C, and I'll turn it over to you. When we talk about people who are wealthy in this society, don't put the onus on just black men. Black men don't own these professional sports teams. We don't own the stock market. We don't own the banking system. We don't own the insurance industry. If there's a need and a heart and a desire to stamp out poverty in America, it can be done. No one deserves to go to bed hungry in this country when we can send billions of dollars overseas to feed other people. So I just hope that not only is it clergy or black athletes, I hope that everyone has a Muhammad Ali consciousness, Big C, and decide that it's important that every kid can go to bed hungry, and every kid deserves the right to liberty and the pursuit of happiness. If you're afraid to speak up for what's right for your kids, and you're a man or a woman, then have your teenage kids do it. Have your elementary kids do it. If you're afraid as a parent to lose your endorsement, have your kids come out and speak out about what's going to make their life safer, Big C. And we'll do this every Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the iHeartRadio Network. Big C, I'll turn it over to you. What can we do going forward as we give everybody in America the chance to say that all lives matter, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, it comes down to education economically and socially, Charlton. That's where we are as a society. We have the greatest sports culture in the world going on around the world right now, Charlton. Whether you're in the soccer, whether you're in the tennis, whether you're in the golf, whether you're in the basketball, baseball, football, whatever sport you want to find, we have all the world leaders out.
Yeah.
And wherever it goes, you think about America during those couple of hours of a sporting event. There's nothing wrong really going on, because it captivates everybody, even whether you're in Europe, Africa, whatever. That sporting event captivates everybody. They just had the Euro Cup, soccer go on. You heard no problems in Europe during that time. It's almost like a ceasefire.
Yeah.
And when you have an NFL game going on, it's almost like a ceasefire.
Yeah.
The NBA Finals, we had ceasefires.
Yeah.
So if sports is that prominent to everybody in America, Charlton, we have to use sports as a larger platform, not just the players, but the owners, the broadcasters, Charlton.
Yeah.
They have to use this mega platform to help ease societal tension.
Yeah.
They have the voice every day, not just on weekends, Charlton, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
That's where the crime and violence is in America. It's 7 days a week. So we got to utilize this sports platform. Everybody knows CNN exists. Everybody knows ABC, NBC, CBS News exists, even Fox News.
Yeah.
But those are not the platforms for society in America. It's the sports platform, Charlton.
I agree.
You look at ESPN.
I agree.
You look at Fox. You look at MSNBC Sports. That's the platform that can guide America to make America more sociable and less violent toward each other.
Well, Big C, that is so well said. And as we know in the last few minutes, the sports world is more integrated than church. I know everyone says let's get together and pray for people. But when all of you go to church, look around on Sunday and look at the people who you're looking at in church, the people you're sitting next to. Most of them have your same skin complexion because churches are so segregated. It's like we all serve a different master or a different God, and whatever your beliefs, whether you're atheist, agnostic, no matter what it happens to be, the sports business is $1 billion industry, and it brings people together like nothing else. And that's one great thing about being an American here. So, Big C, I want to thank you also for everything that you bring to the program. I want to thank Jim Brown for carrying on with this Muhammad Ali consciousness. All of us can do better when we realize that we're all in this thing together. So on the iHeartRadio network, we thank you for giving us a chance. We're going to bring a different format. We're not going to say, hey, the A's beat the Giants 7-2. It was the Yankees 5-3 over the Red Sox. And also, it was the Texans 5-4 over the Royals. I mean, that's great, but let's have a social consciousness. Don't be a sycophant to media and sports. Leave something behind for the next generation. And if you can't do it, then Charlton and Big C will. So I just want to say that we thank you so much for listening to us. We thank you for bringing us into your platform every Monday through Friday, 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Worldwide, tune into Charlton and Big C Sports and download us on the iHeart Radio Network. We thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.